Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hard Ticket, the show where we go to the movies expecting a double feature, only to find that both movies are playing at the exact same time. So now we have a hard ticket to choose between the two. I'm Jeffrey Boggess.
And I'm Tristan Moore.
And we have a special episode. We had our 1-year anniversary about 2 months ago now.
Yes.
And we've had some in-between episodes, some episodes of The Blind Spot, some specials, which means we're just now getting to our 50th matchup. And you know what that means.
Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Oh, you did it right at the same time.
At the same time, Jeff. That's crazy. A little celebration.
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Let me do the pour. Do you think it's going to catch on the mic?
I definitely think it'll catch.
Oh, you hear that?
Oh, yeah. That's the sound of the 50th. Right?
You hear that? That's the sound of a blue moon light.
My mic's set up in a way I would pour it on top of my mic if I tried. Oh, shit. Okay. It's a little messy, but we like it a little messy here at Hard Ticket.
What are you drinking today, Jeff? What is that?
Tristan, I'm drinking Halleck Pale Ale. It used to be by a brewery, Chestnut Brewworks, but they just renamed themselves after this beer. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's foaming a little bit.
Ooh, look at the head on that.
Yeah.
Beautiful head.
We love head here at Hard Ticket.
Head ticket. That's what I wanted to call this podcast.
Tristan, what are you drinking?
This is a Blue Moon Light, citrus wheat. These things suck. They actually taste like vomit. But you're drinking what? Like a little, it's an IPA, right?
Yeah. Did you want one of these?
No.
Nobody likes the beers that I drink.
I don't really like IPAs that much. I drink a little bit when we lived together.
Because they were always there.
I like, what is it, Elysian Space Dust?
Ooh, yeah, Elysian, yeah.
I do like that stuff. The Halleck's are fine, but it's not my go-to. I'd rather drink this vomit water. Let me just take a little sip.
And drinking nothing is not an option.
Oh, God. It tastes like somebody just pissed inside of a tangerine and served it to you.
Well, we're definitely not getting any sponsorships anytime soon, so we can keep going with that. But this is, for our 50th, we wanted to do something kind of big for us.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is like the biggest thing ever, but I know back when Tron Ares came out, the fanfare. I'm such a big Tron fan. We watched Tron together, 4 years ago at our friend Dallas Hartman's house down in Jacksonville, Florida.
We went through a lot of 80s sci-fi movies while we were there. We watched RoboCop, Blade Runner, Buckaroo Banzai Across the Seventh Dimension.
I think it's the Eighth Dimension.
Eighth Dimension, yeah, sorry about that. We watched Threads, which is the one that really didn't belong the most. Well, Aliens.
Yeah, Aliens.
And, of course, we watched Tron.
We watched Tron, which was maybe the strangest movie we watched. No, I guess Buckaroo Banzai probably is. Yeah. But I think visually, this was the strangest movie. I've been kind of a Tron fan ever since I watched it 4 years ago. I think about this movie kind of often. And so when the new movie was coming out, it kind of got my head spinning, right? Because we started this podcast and everything. I was like, what would I put against Tron?
Yeah.
And I think you asked me that while we were in Johnstown, Tennessee. We were on a hike.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And I was like, I think I would put Avatar.
It was Johnson City.
Yeah, Johnson City, not Johnstown. Sorry, we were just in Johnstown,
for all you people marking your hard ticket maps, this is where we had this idea.
Yes. So I was like, I think I'd put it up against Avatar, which also happened to coincide with the fact that a new Avatar film came out last December. Did you see it, Jeff?
No, I didn't. No. I did see the second one, though, when it came out.
The Way of Water.
The Way of Water, and now we have Fire and Ash. We're going through all the Pokemon starters at this point.
Yeah.
Now we have, I think, the next sequel slated for 2029.
Yes.
But I don't know if they're filming it right now. I don't think it's going to meet that deadline because these things sit in the tank for quite some time, about as long as it takes to grow your own Na'vi body. Am I right?
Oh.
Yeah.
You're right. You are right.
So for this episode, we decided to cover one of the biggest movies ever made.
Yes. One of the biggest movies ever made in terms of the box office impact. We will, I'm sure, discuss...
In many terms, I would say.
Well, in many terms. I'm sure we'll discuss the cultural impact of Avatar, because that is like one of the internet's like most hotly debated topics. Like, does Avatar deserve to be ranking along the echelons of like Titanic and Star Wars and Jaws and all these movies, these huge blockbusters, when it's seemingly, at least until a couple of years ago, no one was really talking about Jake Sully and Neytiri and Awa and,
You remember Jake Sully's name, though.
I do.
For some reason, the same people who rip movies apart are always like, you got to remember the character's name, and that makes it a good movie. And you can't argue. You remember Jake Sully's name. You never forget that. Also, when he becomes a full-on Na'vi, he's the only one with like an American English name. So it kind of stands out. They don't give him his own name in Way of Water.
Have like an Avatar name or whatever.
Yeah.
Or what do they call themselves? The Na'vi? Like a Na'vi name?
That's their species, yeah. They're a different tribe, but
he has a human name.
He has a human name, so he carries that over with him. But, that's
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Way ahead, so ahead that we're not even going to be talking about them because those are the sequels, folks. We're talking about the originals today. 2009 and 1982. Let's just go ahead and start. Tristan, option number A.
Option number A is Tron, the 1982 sci-fi classic, cult classic, I think would be fair to say. Directed by Steven Spielberg. Directed by Steven Lisberger. Steven Lisberger, folks. His name sounds so much like Steven Spielberg that I kind of had to do a double take when it first came up on the screen, because obviously we're in the middle of Spielberg summer. Actually coming toward the end of Spielberg summer.
Yes.
This movie stars Jeff Bridges as Kevin Flynn, Bruce Boxleitner as his buddy / lover, Alan Bradley.
Alan!
And the titular Tron. David Warner is the villain here. Cindy Morgan is the love interest. Bow Chicka Wow Wow. Barnard Hughes is Dr. Wader, Gibbs, or Dumont. Lots of crazy names in this. We got Yori, Dumont, Ram.
Don't forget Dan Shore.
Oh, Dan Shore as Ram. Yes.
This is our second Cindy Morgan movie in the past year.
Yeah, after Caddyshack. Crazy. She just keeps popping up.
What do we got to hit next to complete the trilogy?
I don't even know. Cindy Morgan, what else? Oh, rest in peace, by the way.
Oh, really? Did she just pass? Oh.
Like, I think at the end of last year, I think, is when she passed.
Oh, that is a shame.
Yeah.
She's pretty good in this.
Yeah, she's great. Very memorable. What is not memorable is the plot of Tron, which I now have the unenviable task of trying to describe to the audience. If it's been a while since you've seen Tron, you probably remember that Kevin Flynn plays a hacker who gets shot into a computer, which is great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the plot of Free Guy, right? He is a hacker who used to work for this company called INCOM. They stole all of his work and basically built up their whole computer mainframe around his work. So he's been trying to get in, but he's been stopped by the Master Control Program.
It is very similar to Free Guy. Yeah. And
you're like realizing this now, right?
No, I was realizing it when we were watching it. I was getting Free Guy and Ready Player One vibes.
Yes.
I mean,
anyway. I think we'll get into some of that too as we discuss. Anyways, he gets beamed into the mainframe of INCOM. He has to basically liberate this world from the control of the Master Control Program.
Yeah.
And his lackey Sark. It's great. Lots of stuff happens in this movie. It's sort of like there's some gladiatorial arena combat. There's some weird tank combat and some motorcycles, light cycles, flying machines that look like staples.
Discus.
Solar Sailor, Discus. At the end of the film, basically Kevin Flynn acts as like a savior for this whole place and defeats the Master Control Program, thus freeing INCOM of the cold clutches of David Warner's CEO character. Dillinger. And yeah, he liberates the entire mainframe and the day is saved, and they made 2 sequels out of it.
They did.
There's a trilogy here.
It took them a long time.
Just like there's a trilogy out of option number B, Jeff, which I will hand over to you. Could you please introduce Avatar?
The year is 2154, and the Earth ain't doing too hot. So the Resources Development Administration, or RDA, has turned to space to look for valuable resources. On the distant moon Pandora, they've begun mining for an element they refer to as unobtainium, a plot device that fades into the background behind Pandora's native species, the Na'vi. These are tall, blue-skinned, cat-like pantheistic warrior people who have quarreled with humanity since their arrival. In order to smooth over tensions with the natives, the RDA's science division grows Na'vi bodies infused with DNA from a handful of human volunteers that can be inhabited by each volunteer via some complex neurolink. They call these bodies avatars. Jake Sully is an incoming recruit in the Avatar program. His twin brother had originally trained as an operator, but died before shipping off into space. Jake Sully, a paraplegic Marine veteran, was coerced by the RDA into taking his place, although their chief science officer, Dr. Grace Moran, or is it Moran?
Moron.
Hey, I see what you did there. Played by Sigourney Weaver, sees him as unfit Jake is enthralled to inhabit a body with functioning legs again and survives a research mission gone awry with the help of the Na'vi Natiri, who takes him into her tribe and convinces its leaders, her parents, to allow Jake to learn the ways of the Na'vi. Meanwhile, Colonel Miles Qualtrich is delighted to meet a fellow vet in the Avatar program and promises Jake a new pair of legs if he can successfully infiltrate the Na'vi and either get them to peacefully evacuate the RDA mining site or find some sort of weakness that will force them out. So now, Jake Sully is torn between a new tribe in which he's finding acceptance and his own species, who are putting the lives of the Na'vi at risk. There's a lot going on in this film, so I actually wrote this down because it's so long.
That's smart. That's smart. I'm trying to imagine if I would have written the Tron plot down, if it would have made more or less sense, actually.
I feel like sometimes when I am editing these after we record, I'm like, they go to space and this is Tom Cruise.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I will say, though, with Tron, I felt like I did a reasonable job because when you actually watch Tron,
yes,
you don't understand what's going on. You kind of have to take a step back to think about it. So
yeah, whereas Avatar is very plot driven. It's very expository at the beginning. After all, it is a modest 2 hours and 42 minutes, a crisp 162 minutes. So there is a lot
of light reading.
Yeah, Act 1 is like the length of an entire movie, basically, I would say. And there's a lot going on. But yeah, this was directed by James Cameron, written by James Cameron, produced by James Cameron, and his frequent collaborator, John Landau. It came out at the end of 2009. I saw it when I was 10 or 11 years old because my mom asked me if I wanted to go see it. I didn't know anything about this movie because it was, an original idea, in quotes.
Yeah, technically.
But the fact that I saw it at that age, before I really had any particular interest in movies like I do now, is a testament. The fact that my mom asked me if I wanted to go see this movie in 3D is a testament to the broad marketing appeal that Avatar had. James Cameron, known for big, big, big movies, baby.
His biggest, which you have not seen.
Well, is that bigger than this one?
Oh.
This is the unadjusted for inflation, highest grossing movie of all time. You probably already knew that. Adjusted for inflation, it's still number 2. So, everybody knows this movie. But what they might not know is just how innovative it was. They were pioneering motion capture technology. They had a live feed where they could basically see the motion graphics as they were capturing them, which is insane. I mean, Cameron sat on this idea for years, and Lord of the Rings, I think, was the big thing where he was watching Gollum and he was like, oh, I think the tech is finally here for me to start making moves on this. So
he saw Jar Jar Binks and he was like, finally, my vision.
Lucas is like, where this technology's been here for years already. We've got to figure it out. Yeah. So for our 50th matchup, we are doing Avatron. Now it's time for our log lines. Tristan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, I might need you to do sound effects in post of a computer typing noise, okay?
I have one ready to go.
All right, here we go. I'm in. That's right, we're all in. Sorry. Beam your consciousness into the constructed body of a puppet avatar to liberate an alien world from the cold, lifeless clutches of unrepentant capitalism. Get the girl, save the world, and look awesome doing it. That's my log line.
Or look progressive for the time while doing it. That's pretty good. That's really good, actually. Here's mine. A group of nerds recruit a specifically skilled hero for an extraction mission with the promise of regaining something he's lost. Through a high-tech sci-fi transformation, he finds himself a human ambassador inside a whole new world of conflict and violence, weighing the question as to whether humanity will remain a slave to problems of its own creation or free itself with the very technology that started it all.
Ooh, thoughtful and considered.
A laser dismantles the molecular structure of the object, and molecules remain suspended in the laser beam. Then, when the computer plays out the model, the molecules fall back into place, and voila!
It's a network. It's a global network, and the Na'vi can access it. They can upload and download data, memories, at sites like the one you just destroyed. Yes.
What the hell have you people been smoking out there?
It's easy to see why we're comparing these two films, right?
I think so. Yeah. In addition to the plot similarities, just the way they were groundbreaking special effects achievements. I mean, Tron was so ahead of its time, it was denied nomination for an Academy Award for visual effects.
I just learned that today, and that blew my mind. Because I guess like they considered the computer to be like, it's like cheating.
Yeah.
Which is like, what? It's a special effect. But I guess it was, I mean, really, it was so far on the edge of what special effects could be considered. Yeah, no one had considered that computers could be doing that. I mean, CGI had been around for a little bit. But yeah, Tron is what really, I think, is what makes CGI a thing that we now see in movies today. I mean, it's a trailblazer. And the same way that Avatar is. Because Avatar is like a completely constructed world. Like computer constructed world.
Avatar was something that, as I mentioned, Cameron waited until he knew he could make, basically. Whereas Tron was just a big experiment at the time. So you have one that, Tron looks wonky, right?
It does.
Viewing it in 2026, it's a novelty. Does it transcend that? That's up to the viewer. I think we'll get into that, obviously. We've talked about when a novelty goes from that to transcending its novelty-ness.
Sure.
Avatar is a similar thing, although by the end of Avatar, like speaking for myself, I completely gave into it. Like the integration with CGI and real-world elements was complete 100%. I fully indulged. So that's what happens when you, I guess, wait long enough to then push the mold forward, because they both did it.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
On one end, you have a film that is about a human being, a live action component in this digital world, who is trying to liberate the computer from, malignant elements within. And on the other end, you have a completely constructed CGI creation trying to kill off all of the live action elements in the film to make it completely animated.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the computer completely taking over in such a way that, like you're saying, you indulge in it, you become completely immersed in it. I mean, both of these films are not only immersive experiences in and of themselves, but they're about immersion. That is what the protagonist of both films undergoes when they beam their consciousness into these worlds. They become immersed. In a way, like last time I watched Avatar was 4 years ago when they did a re-release. I watched it in IMAX 3D, right? That's the ideal place to watch Avatar, I think. You watch it in IMAX, you watch it in 3D, biggest screen possible, with the actual elements coming out at you. Because the beginning of this film, I think, is like a droplet of water floating, into focus. For me, to me, it's a film about the experience of actually watching a film. It is about immersing yourself in a world, because that is exactly what Jake Sully himself is doing. He is, in that way, the perfect kind of like blank slate protagonist for the viewer to kind of glom onto. Is he perfectly blank slate? No. I mean, obviously most of us aren't like Marines, especially trained Marines, or, we aren't, a lot of people aren't disabled, that sort of thing. So there are elements to him that make him sort of interesting, like as a person, but generally, and this is a big criticism of Avatar, he is a pretty blank slate protagonist. We kind of alluded to it at the beginning. A lot of people do not remember that the main character of Avatar is called Jake Sully.
Which is interesting, because very similar things could be said about Tron as well. These are archetypal characters. Jeff Bridges is the standout performance between both these movies. I think we can agree.
David Warner's really good too. Yeah.
David Warner is really good. I will also say that Stephen Lang is enjoyable to watch on screen. Yeah. I mean, they are movies about the medium, like you're saying, about the experience of watching a film. Now, as contentious as Avatar is, there is a general consensus. Like it has high ratings, or high-ish ratings on most of the aggregates. It's got like 3.8 on Letterboxd, 7.9 on IMDb. Tron is more, I think people know what to do with Tron less, because the thing about Tron is it felt like a very self-contained thing. It was close-ended. Like the last scene is just Jeff Bridges showing up on a helicopter. It's
like, you're like, I own the company now.
It's like literally, oh yeah, we're going to close this book. And I think people were waiting for the Avatar sequels for a long time, because there was so much hype around it. Like, what's going to happen next? Is it going to look even better? Cameron shot 2 and 3 back to back in 2017. By 2022, we hadn't seen anything from them, which is wild. Then they come out and it's entertaining. Whereas Tron Legacy was the first Legacy sequel. It literally has Legacy in the title. It's not the first Legacy sequel, but it really kind of, you could point at it as jumpstarting that trend.
Sure.
And we could talk about the legacies of these movies. We had Tron Ares come out last year, like you said, and it bombed at the box office.
Yeah. I don't think Tron films ever do well at the box office. They're sort of like the anti-Avatar in that way. Avatar is consistently making over $1 billion. I know Fire and Ash wasn't as successful as, James Cameron wanted. It didn't quite make the GDP of a small country, but it still did, great numbers. Whereas Tron has just always struggled. It is very niche. It is off-putting in a lot of ways to people. And I think it has to be chalked up to more than just the datedness of like the visuals of the first film, because Tron Legacy and Tron Ares, I think most people would agree those films look great. They look great. So it can't just be the visuals. There has to be something else here that is turning people off to Tron. Maybe it's the name, right? Because Tron has this really just kind of old-fashioned kind of sound to it. Like Ram.
Like Ram. But there's a whole aesthetic surrounding Tron, the cyberpunk thing, especially. I mean, I think Daft Punk were huge fans of the original Tron. And then you've got Daft Punk coming in doing the soundtrack to Legacy. So I think people maybe who haven't penetrated Tron look at it as more dense than it actually is. Which is funny because then you look at Avatar, which is so dense. Like 2 hours and 42 minutes is short for an Avatar movie now.
Yeah.
Also, every Tron movie has been its own story with basically new characters. Jeff Bridges is a through line throughout each.
Right.
But Ares tried to jumpstart a new series and probably failed. Legacy, I believe, set up a sequel that also never followed through.
Yes.
Whereas Avatar is following Jake Sully's family from the beginning in every installment. So you have a through line there, whereas Tron is constantly starting, stopping.
Yeah, that is true. Would you rather follow, the exploits of a character that you don't really remember the name of, who has no real definable traits? Would you rather that continuity, or would you rather Tron kind of take some chances by, like you're saying, jumpstarting new plot lines? It is a rock and a hard place, I think, because, I don't particularly find Jake Sully to be memorable or sympathetic or, like I said, he's a blank slate protagonist. I relate to him insofar as like his experience as a human to becoming a Na'vi is something that I'm like, wow, this is crazy. The first act of Avatar in particular, I think is great. I think it's magic, like legitimately magic. I love the experience of him just sitting in this tiny ass coffin looking thing.
Yeah.
And then you do like the whole like, he's going through like the wormhole effect of like 2001. And now he's up in this like body. He's in this completely constructed virtual world. The alien ecology is really interesting on Pandora. That's all great stuff. You have something kind of similar going on with Tron. He gets zapped into the mainframe. You also have these psychedelic kind of visuals. It's it's a little dated, you could say, like 60s kind of, but
you could say that.
You could say that. But it is like, again, like that same sort of like beyond the threshold, through the wormhole kind of thing. And you're in this completely alien world where everybody's talking very strangely. Or isn't that so strange that they're all talking in English, but it sounds weirder to my ears than a lot of the Na'vi on Pandora, who are all sort of recognizably of a sort of human like archetype,
right,
or cultural archetype, I guess. That's something that this film really traffics in a lot, which we should probably talk about, right? The idea that the Na'vi are sort of stand-ins for any number of indigenous groups in colonial history in particular.
Yeah, this movie gets compared to like Pocahontas. It gets compared to Dances with Wolves. Ferngully is a big one. The way that James Cameron described the Na'vi specifically was that they represent the aspirational selves of viewers.
Okay.
So they exist there, some higher plane of existence.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where I think there's a through line between these movies about what we can accomplish through technology.
Yes.
Look at the Avatar program, the technology that Jake Sully gravitates towards. He uses it to basically vacation in this body. I mean, it's called Avatar. We all have online avatars, which probably has a lot to. I think we already called them that before this movie came out, but
yeah,
it definitely popularized in the zeitgeist. In
whatever
big papyrus font.
Yeah, what other words can you use? Like a golem or like like your shadow self. Like there's something very like psychoanalytic about like what is being done here, and the mirror or whatever. Like and again, like that just sort of goes back to these films as like a metaphor for the film watching experience. I think it's interesting to think about Tron in that way as well, because I love what you're saying about like, look what we can do with our technology. And that's ultimately like the unspoken magic of Tron, is that Kevin Flynn has basically, I think it's implied that he's basically built this mainframe. And when he gets zapped into it, he has built something he didn't even realize is populated with life. And they, the people in the Tron, not the Tron mainframe, the INCOM mainframe, have a belief in what they call users, the people who made them, right? And this belief is very much mimicked. It's sort of like a belief in God, right?
It is. It's very one-to-one.
Yeah, like no one has seen their user or whatever. It's like their guardian angel or God or whatever. No one has actually seen them, but they believe in them. And so when Kevin Flynn actually shows up in the mainframe and is like, I'm actually what you guys call a user.
I'm God.
I'm God. And they're just like, oh, really? We expected a little bit more because I get it. Like meet your creator and you're going to be disappointed, obviously.
Right.
But there is still something magical about Kevin Flynn actually meeting with Tron and Ram and all these people and freeing their civilization. You look at Avatar and the whole liberation narrative, a lot of people call like a white savior trope. Whereas I don't think you can really look at Tron and say it has similar issues. Is that so if we're talking about datedness, right? Like if we're talking about something being dated, we're talking about Tron really feeling like an 80s movie. You look at Avatar, comes out,
2009.
17 years ago?
Yeah.
Does the white savior narrative thing, does that age the film in your opinion? Like in what ways has Avatar not aged well in the same way that Tron hasn't?
Well, they would be narrative reasons for that aspect. To me, if you're looking at Jake Sully and you're sort of like trying to project yourself onto Jake Sully, you eliminate the race aspect of it because the Na'vi are not stand-ins for any specific race.
No.
I definitely understand the apprehension people have when it comes to that narrative. I was considering it when I was going into this viewing experience because I had not seen this film since I was 10. And, Jake Sully is incredibly flawed. Our friend Dallas has a big problem with this movie, actually, because he's like, Jake Sully helps bring down the society and they forgive him just because he flies this really rad pterodactyl bird. And I'm like, well, you know what Jake Sully does? He parachutes out of a helicopter and just falls on the back of this bird and links up with it. And the Na'vi, they don't do that. They have more of a respect, or I guess they're maybe more afraid of it. But to land on this bird is particularly legendary. It's the bird that eats the birds that they ride.
Right.
So Jake Sully basically cheats it. He shortcuts it, but that gets their trust back real quick.
It gets their trust back, and they acknowledge him as the Shai Hulud or the Lisan Al Galib or the
he's God.
He's God.
He is. I mean that's there's a similarity between.
Well, he's a savior character, right? And I think it also helps that he's able to unite many of the disparate tribes together. So yeah, he sort of functions as a Paul Atreides Fremen kind of thing, which we got Dune Part 3 coming out here. We're about to see Paul Atreides as a genocidal maniac.
Spoilers for people who don't know Dune Messiah.
Well, yeah, it's very heavily implied at the end of Dune Part 2. But, is James Cameron going to make Jake Sully into a Paul Atreides type character, or is he just running straight white savior narrative? Here's the thing. I don't necessarily think the race of Jake Sully is what matters so much as the fact that he is the one person who was able to unite all these tribes of a certain species. He's an outsider, able to unite all these tribes of a certain species. We talk about this, I think, a lot in our show. The exceptional individual, the hero's journey, all that stuff. America, in particular, is obsessed with these stories. We love a one-person narrative where he shows up, he specifically, it's usually a man, shows up and is able to unite everybody. It's the great man, narrative of history. Your George Washington and that sort of thing. And that maybe is sort of the root of my problem with a film like Avatar, is that he undergoes such a... I mean, I can't say that it's, well, it's not realistic, so that's a problem, right? Because like it is a fantasy film at the end of the day. But I think it adds to the sort of rote, predictable, and sort of uncreative approach the film ends up taking. Because, like I said, that first act is so good, and I love being immersed into a world that I've never seen before. But very soon after that, all the little genre tropes start picking up. And as that goes on, the film starts to kind of lose me a little bit, and I'm not as into it. Kevin Flynn is not like Jake Sully. I mean, really, he works together with Tron himself. It's like this duo. Obviously, they both play pivotal roles in freeing the mainframe from INCOM's influence. They lead maybe a sort of uprising, but they are not just the one exceptional individual. And there are other people like Kevin Flynn in the world, like Bruce Boxleitner's character in his, Avatar, who's Tron. So I think that's interesting that Tron actually diverges a little bit from the hero's journey narrative, just a little bit by splitting it between two different men instead of just like the one great man of Avatar, which is Jake Sully, who is kind of unquestionably always the main character and always the one who really saves the day in this trilogy.
You need that. In this,
you feel like you need that.
You need Jake Sully to be the character who flip-flops. You take some of the biggest budgets that have ever been awarded to a film. You make an anti-colonialism narrative out of that. Sure. Me as like an advocate for Palestine and everything, like I feel very strongly about that stuff. Yeah, sure, go for it. Like,
yeah.
That's fine.
The anti-colonial stuff is great. I agree with that.
Sure, but you need Jake Sully to be the person who is that stand-in for, okay, we can teach this lesson still. Like, he has to flip-flop. Like, if it's the Na'vi story, I think we don't feel as sympathetic towards them because we're not gradually introduced to them from a POV character. We just get dropped in the middle of this conflict. Like Jake. Now, the thing about liberation through technology in Avatar is that Jake is sort of our POV character, and he is so enthralled by this world. Pandora, big, lush green forests. Like the color palette in Avatar is very, very staggering. It's not as obvious as the color palette in Tron, which is like they literally shot the human scenes in like black and white because they had to color in all that stuff by hand. Incredibly impressive. But in Pandora, from Jake Sully's perspective, once he travels through that wormhole, there is no technology in sight. All of that is natural. His life, he's basically used it to liberate himself, which is interesting, right?
Isn't it? Yeah. Like you can't forsake the technology because he needed that to become who he is.
Well, yeah, exactly. He needed it to become who he is. And now it's like he's like permanently in this, like, if it was a stand-in for VR, now he lives in the VR world, right?
Right.
Look, they're avatars. They have like elements of cats, and they're like, you could call them, they still have like traditional markers of beauty like humans do. Like, it's kind of like how you would design your own online avatar, right?
Yeah.
The characters in Avatar are so liberated by that technology. And then there's Tron. And Flynn is a slave as soon as he gets there. He is a slave because it is an oppressive machine that has been built because the machine has decided to usurp humans. So
yes.
Flynn's got to take it down.
Computers serving people, now he's trying to become an overlord of human beings. Yeah.
Right. And so as long as the users are still writing the code, everything is just peachy, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
Now, the hostiles believe that this mountain stronghold of theirs is protected by their deity. And when we destroy it, we will blast a crater in their racial memory so deep that they won't come within 1,000 clicks of this place ever again. And that, too, is a fact.
All programs have a desire to be useful. But in moments, you will no longer seek communication with each other or your superfluous users. You will each be part of me, and together we will be complete.
I think what's so weird about Avatar, what makes me so weary of it, if these people are supposedly so liberated and so sort of idealized, what did Cameron say? the Na'vi are supposed to represent for human beings?
The aspirational selves.
The aspirational selves. And yet they live in a hierarchical society of some sort.
They have their own problems and everything. They have not ascended to this higher plane of existence, but they are pantheists. They coexist with nature.
They coexist with nature. They still their power structures, I think, need some work, which I think is an issue. Tron.
You think you could save them?
Right. It might just be an ideological difference for me. Like I don't view that as a totally liberated society, because they do have to follow like a chain of command. Like there is a tribe leader. Yeah. They all bend the knee to Jake Sully, so on and so forth. And maybe that was necessary during the conflict in Avatar, but I mean, you literally see in later movies that Jake Sully still uses machine guns. He still uses I think a voice, like a comm link or something like on his neck. So he hasn't totally forsaken technology. And I think he even is integrating it into the tribal life and finds some uses for it. So it's not like an anti-tech film at all. It's mostly just it's anti-colonial, it's anti-exploitation. It's very much just like, you can't just expect to transport everything you did on Earth, ruining the Earth, over to this planet and just expect to get away with it. You can't be a locust. You can't just continue consuming. Yeah. It's like an anti-consumerist thing. Tron, it's all about trying to overthrow this master control program, right? It's a totalitarian mainframe where the programs are being forced to fight against each other and forced to slave over work for the master control program. We don't actually get to see what life in the mainframe looks like after that program is overthrown.
Because supposedly, who cares? It's not even life, really. Am I right?
Maybe. They're like little ants.
They're like Free City, They're
like Free City. What you do see is that, Kevin Flynn flies in on his helicopter and he's like, I'm the boss now. I'm the CEO. And it's like, oh, I just rooted for a new CEO to overtake INCOM, I guess. I guess that's cool.
It's like Ready Player One, man.
It's like Ready Player One.
In the hands of the fans.
I am so frustrated by American films, American blockbusters specifically, that are just all about. They say they're about revolution, but they're all about establishing the status quo just under a different person. I am frustrated by that, because we have talked about this now, in Free Guy and Ready Player One. We've done the virtual reality simulation stuff in Matrix and The Truman Show.
Yeah.
This is a recurring thing that we keep coming back to. And who is the person lording over all of this? And who is the character that we end up following through all of this? It's always... It's a guy.
The guy who will inherit the power.
It's a white guy. It's a white guy.
And we're supposed to want to be that white guy most of the time, right?
Because we're white guys and we're watching the movie.
We want justice for Flynn. We want Jake Sully to walk again. I mean, generally you want to root for these people. Like Jake Sully shows that he's got a good heart.
Can I just have an ensemble cast, though? Can I just have a nice ensemble? Jeff, we got to talk about Battleship Potemkin on the show one day. I know we have a potential future guest who posited a matchup to us about Battleship Potemkin, and now I'm thinking we should do it, because I need a chance to talk about why this whole individual versus collectivism thing is bothering me so much. I just want to see a paradigm shift in these films that are, proposing to be so revolutionary. And Tron and Avatar are revolutionary in a formal sense, but in a narrative sense, and I think that is where these films usually get taken down. You're seeing a lot of the stuff that you just see elsewhere. Especially, I think these films are aping off Star Wars a lot, which makes sense.
Especially Tron, very directly.
Tron's poster is literally Luke Skywalker with the lightsaber and Princess Leia on his side. Yeah. I mean, even Avatar has a lot of stuff in common with Star Wars. I mean, the whole we have to bomb the mountain at the end of the movie, and they have to stop them from bombing the mountain. It's like the thermal exhaust port of the Death Star kind of thing. It's just the roles are reversed, right?
Well, Disney kind of wanted their own Star Wars. So ironic
before,
now. Before they bought it, yeah.
But now they've got their own Star Wars and they don't know what to do with it.
It's part of the reason why the first Tron is considered a financial disappointment, because it did make money, but it didn't make Empire Strikes Back money. And they were like, what's the point?
I'm gonna go home now. This sucks.
Which is so funny, because the guy who made Tron, Steve Lisberger, he had only really made animated movies beforehand, and then he decided basically I want to make a live action animated thing, not like a Roger Rabbit thing, but basically I just want to push the mold. I just want to do it. Who am I? The last movie I made was a TV movie called Animal Olympics.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I would watch it, but only because it's by the guy who made Tron, right?
Sure, yeah.
What is interesting about Lisberger's direction? I mean, you have characters like Alan, who's talking like he's a program when he's in the real world. Then you have Jeff Bridges just smoking everybody because he's actually emoting in every scene that he's in.
I got the distinct impression Jeff Bridges was either drunk or on like cocaine through a lot of this.
Definitely the latter.
He's very funny. Like every time he sneaks around, he's like a cartoon. And then like in the beginning of the film, he is, hacking into the mainframe as his program Clue, also played by Jeff Bridges. And like he's about to crash into a wall and he screams like a little girl when he does it. And I'm like, why is he screaming like that? Like,
oh yeah.
It's very odd. No, there are a lot of parallels between the INCOM mainframe and the real world in Tron.
But you get the feeling they really don't want to spend time in the real world in Tron. They kind of just want to get. When I started Tron the other night for this podcast,
yeah,
it's one of those movies that you start and you're like, oh, did I miss something? And I like pause it and I'm like, no, I'm 4 minutes in.
Yeah.
Right. Which isn't necessarily a knock against it. I have a lot of fun with Tron. The first time I watched it, I was like, it's like Wizard of Oz in a computer.
Yeah.
The part where Dan Shore is like drinking from the river and he's like, my friends, my fellow conscripts, we have scored. And he's talking like a
Shakespearean actor or
he
something.
reminds me so much of like just his facial expressions while he's being animated over. He reminds me of like the annoying orange or like those Steve Odekirk, like the Thumb Wars guys, like his shiny white teeth and he's just got a goofy smile on him. Like that's some of my favorite stuff.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And we should talk a little bit about not just like the visual formalism and everything, but like the actual designs of everything. Going back to the real world, I mean, like there are shots of the city that look like a computer mainframe. There are shots,
time-lapse photography and everything.
Yes, the infinite cubicle set that looks like they are programs. There's the industrial like looking set where the laser actually is. There's the INCOM helicopter flying in at night with the red neon.
Yeah.
I mean, they are I think are just trying to draw all these parallels between the mainframe world and the real world and being like, yeah, you live in a simulation, dude.
It's so inspired. Like
it's great.
And you don't have the Matrix without Tron. You don't have After Last Season.
You don't have Avatar without Tron.
No, you don't have Avatar.
Like while we're you don't have After Last Season without Tron. Thanks. It's a little After Last Season shout out from us once again. Avatar has like interesting designs too. I think
it does.
I think the ecology of Pandora, like I love evolutionary biology, so I love speculative evolutionary biology just as much. I think
not the first time this has come up on the pod.
Has it? Yeah, it has come up before, hasn't it? Was it during the How to Train Your Dragon discussion? Yeah. I think what's really interesting about the ecology of Avatar is that like all of these animals have 6 legs, right?
Yeah.
Jeff, have you been reading Your Inner Fish by Neil Shubin that I lended to you?
Dude, you know I'm taking a break this summer from all my grad school reading.
For all the reading. You might know, Jeff, though, you might remember from however much you read from it that like most like the vertebrates that live on land are called tetrapods, right?
Yeah.
We have 4 limbs, which is, you look at us, you look at a cat, a dog, bear, lizard, frog, they're all tetrapods because they have 4 limbs. Everything in Avatar world has 6 limbs. They're hexapods, right? You see it in the land animals. You see it in the banshees themselves, which have like 2 sets of wings, but also like hind legs. But then you look at the Na'vi, right?
Yeah.
And the Na'vi, what's so weird about them? They have 4 limbs. They're tetrapods. Where's the other set of limbs, Jeff? Where'd they take them?
Are you saying this is like a flaw with the movie?
This is a flaw with the film. This is a flaw. This is my same flaw that I have with something like WALL-E. Love WALL-E, by the way. WALL-E's too cute, all right? He's too goddamn cute. You look at those little eyes and you're like, oh, I have to feel sorry for him. Look at the way he's designed. Look at the way that the Na'vi are designed.
Dude, the Na'vi...
They're little cat people. They're little cat people with big, big eyes, luscious lips, and they only have 4
Brother,
limbs.
they're our aspirational selves. Pandora's a
My
moon.
aspirational self has 6 limbs.
Pandora's a moon. We don't know, there's always these theories about how how life got to Earth.
Oh, panspermia, That's what it's called.
Somebody could have come from, something could happen with the main planet or the other moons. I don't know. I think it raises a lot of questions. I think it's interesting that humanity can grow Na'vi bodies infused with human DNA, and I think it's probably smart on the movie's behalf to just go off Earth for all of it, basically. Yeah. We have no idea what condition the Earth is in.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. You definitely get the impression that Earth sucks.
Yes.
Like sucks hard. Like no one wants to be on Earth anymore.
There's still war. I mean, Jake Sully is a veteran of some war.
He fought in Venezuela, and I was like, oh, that's
Oh no.
oh god. No, is it smart? See, here's what I'm imagining. James Cameron obviously did Aliens. I think of where the Alien franchise went with the whole Prometheus thing.
Yeah.
And all that. It's trying to chart the inception of the xenomorph and everything. And now I'm imagining James Cameron one day addressing the elephant in the room. In my opinion, the four-legged elephant in the room, which is that. Where's the other pair of limbs for the Na'vi?
It was Ridley Scott who did the Prometheus
I know,
shit.
but there's some alien connection there anyway. So
Sure.
maybe James Cameron will be like, yeah, actually the Na'vi are like they sent their DNA off to Earth, and we're actually we're like degraded descendants of the Na'vi, like the Nephilim or something like that. You know?
Yeah, the Avatar sequels, as they expand the world, also keep things centered on Jake Sully's family, which is something I appreciate about Way of Water.
Okay.
They flesh out the world. They don't get too preoccupied with the world, I think. It always centers back to, it becomes basically family oriented. It becomes like a Fast and Furious kind of thing, right? Except they're actually biological family, which actually, no, not all of them. You have like the adopted daughter of Grace's Avatar who just spawns, and then Spider, the kid from the villain from the first movie. So
spoilers. Yeah. Spider.
Crazy what I remember from Way of Water after not seeing it in 4 years, but
well, the sequel to Tron also follows Kevin Flynn's son.
Yeah.
Played by Guy McActor, man, whose love interest is Olivia Wilde. Bow chicka wow wow.
Go Jeff. See The Invite.
Yeah, The Invite was good.
I was a warrior who dreamed he could bring peace. Sooner or later, though, you always have to wake up.
But if you are a user, and everything you've done has been according to a plan, right?
You wish. But you guys know what it's like. You just keep doing what it looks like you're supposed to be doing, no matter how crazy it seems.
Yeah, you got to follow family. Family matters most. Family.
But the cool
matters most
about sci-fi, whenever you're expanding the world, is that when you can keep it focused. I don't think Avatar ever lost focus. I think Tron, because it has started and stopped and started and stopped, it's like, we're going to change the aesthetic every time, but it advances at the pace of technology, which I think is appropriate as well. You go back, you watch the original Tron, there's arcade game sound effects. It's great. It's like such a vibe. And then you watch Tron Legacy and there's a Daft Punk soundtrack. And it's like that is appropriate for where we are aesthetically when we embrace technology aesthetically at any point in time. Avatar is like a dream. It was based on a dream that James Cameron had or some imagery he saw when he was dreaming as a child. These lush neon forests. Tron is like a video game, or it's like a computer, but really it's like a video game. It's like Beat Saber, but also Tron's legacy is so entwined in the advancement of technology that they draw from each other, which is why Beat Saber, we don't have Beat Saber without Tron.
That's true. Imagine Tron Beat Saber. That's the next sequel that they come out with 10 years down the line. Yeah, but my dreams, Jeff, have better plots than Avatar.
No, they don't, dude.
I had a dream a couple nights ago. I was living in my grandma's house with all the female members of my family, and there were fruit flies everywhere. What does it mean, right? Like, it makes you think. I watch Avatar, and the plot is serviceable, but it doesn't really make me think a whole lot. You know what I mean?
Does Tron make you think?
Tron makes me think.
Tron forces you to think.
Tron forces you to think, but it also makes you kind of feel like on a very weird level, like a spiritual kind of level. I think that's something that I think Tron has going for it. There's a lot of talk of spiritualism in Avatar, and I think some of it does work.
Yep.
I love the idea of the entire planet Pandora being connected on this like mycelial network, like this, like the trees are all connected and all this stuff. Like Pandora is a brain, like you're saying, with a brain that dreamt up this whole dream that is this planet, which I think is interesting.
The way that Dr. Grace describes Pandora is they can download and upload memories to their tree, which is part of the reason.
It can be hacked.
Well, it's like, if they need the Avatar technology, their own technology to transcend, then they don't see the technology anymore on Pandora, but it's there. They're just living. It's like fully immersive technology.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is ultimately
biotech.
Biotech, yeah. We have achieved it. We have done it. James Cameron has successfully privatized biotech.
It's it's technology arising from biology, whereas Tron is biology arising from technology.
Yeah,
the intelligence does not come from space; it comes from out of the space in between spaces. Between our mainframes and our computer chips and all this crap.
And every user or every program looks like their user. They have the same personality as their user, pointedly too.
Oh yeah.
Which, same with like
created in the image of God, the user.
Jeff Bridges, my God,
Jeff Bridges. Yeah, the name Tron reminds me of Metroid. You know Metroid?
You probably don't have Metroid without Tron. When did Metroid come out?
Oh,
Tron predates Super Mario, doesn't it?
I don't know. 82? I'm not sure. I think Metroid is in the 80s sometime.
Pretty sure Super Mario was 85.
You have Metroid without Alien, actually.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, Super Mario is 85. So like pretty much like a bunch of those Nintendo games. Like, I mean, Tron is so obsessed with like that arcade video game aesthetic. You don't treat Flynn like he's some nerd. In fact, this is
he's kind of cool. He's really cool.
His like not his introductory scene, but the scene where you really get a sense of who he is like a bunch of people gathered around him while he's breaking a record on an arcade.
Like
he's like sweaty. Yeah. He gets his gamer juice. Like,
he gets done and like this like little blonde girl's like, oh, Flynn, come to the back with me. He's like, oh, hold on, I got some coworkers here. And it's just like, wow, what a cool guy. He works at this arcade.
I love that because you just don't really see that. Like nerds were not cool back then.
No, he's like a cool nerd, but without like being a nerd.
Which is interesting because when you bring the fantasy elements of Tron into the narrative, they are not liberating. They're oppressive. Like once you escape the real world, you get thrown into the machine. You're not, well, I guess Flynn doesn't need to because he's cool in the real world.
Sure. Well, we live in an oppressive world, I think. And I think Tron is about escaping into, like I said, the space between spaces and finding a way to deal with it on your own terms. Kevin Flynn is a programmer. He's a gamer. So the world of Tron, the mainframe of INCOM, is a world that he's very familiar with. It's a world that he can beat back using the tools at his own disposal. He plays that first game with that one guy, and they're basically playing Pong, like the discus match or whatever.
Yeah.
It's Pong. He plays the bike, the light cycle game. He literally invented that game. There is an escapist element here, but it's all about using, like I said, the tools at your disposal to deal with the harsh realities of the world. You have a ostensibly happy ending, but again, the happy ending is, oh, I just got off my private helicopter and I'm the CEO of a corporation. It's not exactly something I aspire to. Do I aspire to live in a mostly egalitarian tribe on a far off distant alien planet? It's probably closer to what I would want to do, but
we aspire at the end of the day to live with your family and take whatever the world throws at you with what is important to you by your side.
Oh, family matters most. It all goes back to
Click.
It
goes back to Click.
Click would be the name of my Tron avatar, I think.
Right. Yeah. You make an arcade game called Click.
Yeah, my program would be called Click.
Gotta find evidence they stole Click from me.
That's great. No, I mean these movies are great. I can't say enough good things about both these movies. I think, like I said, the ideal way to watch Avatar is in a movie theater. You see it in IMAX, you see it in 3D. The ideal way to watch Tron is you microdose on shrooms with your friend Dallas in Jacksonville, which I've never done before because I don't do drugs.
I can verify that.
But if I were to theoretically do that in the summer of 2022 with my friend Dallas, my friend Jeff in Jacksonville, Florida, this would be the movie I'd do it to.
I can also verify that.
So that's it. Avatron. This is it.
I will ask though, like, how much do big movies like this have to ease the viewer into the way they're pushing the mold? Because in Avatar you have Jake Sully, whose character journey is very telegraphed. His voiceover is essentially his video diaries, and they kind of dog ear every beat that he goes through to complete his arc, right? In Tron, I don't know, man. It's like you kind of get thrown into it. And I like in medias res. Tron isn't exactly in medias res, but something has happened beforehand that we're dealing with the consequences of. And I think Tron is a little too jarring for some general audiences. That's
totally fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. You asked like, to what extent do these films need to do that? You know, I am not a prescriptivist when it comes to my art or my films. I think there is a cold, harsh reality once again here that in order for a film to get made with this level of budget, it needs to appeal to a baseline number of people.
That's the business of film.
That's the business. And I think that's unfortunate. I also think that maybe it is necessary. Maybe you don't get films as big as Avatar unless we have the world of capitalism and, you know, corporations and all that crap. I don't know. I mean, am I going to hold it against Tron that it does decide to kind of just throw you in the mix and expect you to sort of pick up the pieces as you go along? No, I kind of like it. I understand if that turns people off, but hey, we got 2 sequels out of it, and we got 2 sequels out of Avatar. So
2 more on the way.
For now, as far as I'm concerned.
I hear there's a little Avatar on the way.
Navi baby. For now, they're evenly matched, I think, in terms of that sort of thing. Did you catch the Get Some guy in Avatar? Yeah, get some.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He says that twice.
Yeah, that's his catchphrase.
That's what he says. He says
that's when they
some.
sold toys. They're like, "This is Get Some guy," and you press a little button. And he says, "Yeah, get some."
He gets stepped on at the end of the movie, and I thought that was funny because I'm like, I wrote, "Get some guy, get some."
Dude, that's great.
You can cut all this if you want. I just wanted to get that in at the end. All right, Jeff, happy 50th matchup to you and I. There is no actual particular date here that is special. It just happens to be our 50th matchup. I look forward to the next 50. God knows we have them in our Google sheet. Before going into this, I was like, where could Jeff's head be at? Mm-hmm. That guy.
And now you know that we've been talking for an hour.
And now I know where your head's at, but I still want to hear you say it. So, Jeff, what is your 50th hard ticket going to?
Oh man, my 50th hard ticket.
Yeah, it's a special one.
It is special, yes. So before I watched these movies, I had an idea of where it was going to go. And I watched Avatar, and it was long. I'd say like 95% of the special effects held up. There's that scene at the beginning where Jake is first in his avatar body. He's moving kind of weird.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And the visuals are a little bit wonky, but it also makes sense narratively. The rest of it, by the end, where they're at the floating islands and everything, I'm like, I fully just forgot to think about whether or not what I'm watching is real or fake.
No.
Cameron did it.
Yeah, he did it.
And he waited until he could. It's like there is a completeness, a holistic nature to Avatar, which is funny because there's this quote that Jeff Bridges has in Tron, that Flynn has in Tron, where Tron himself, he's like, so if you're a user, then everything you've done has been according to a plan, right? And Jeff Bridges is basically like, you guys know what it's like. You just keep doing what you think you're supposed to be doing, no matter how crazy it seems.
Right.
That kind of seems like it could be the thesis to both of these movies. It's not quite the thesis for Avatar, though, because Cameron was doing that, and then he waited.
And he waited.
And then he waited until he knew he could do it.
Well, you know what they say? You know what they say, Jeff? The patient hunter gets his multi-billion-dollar film franchise.
He gets the most profitable movie. Not profitable, but the most
money ever.
Lisberger did not wait. He did what Jeff Bridges did. He just kept going. He just made a thing. I have so much respect for that. It is a lot of respect. And when I revisited Tron for this episode, I forgot how much movie it wasn't. I was a little bit off-put by it, I'm not going to lie. I remember it just like cohering a little bit better in my head, but it's janky, man. It doesn't have the completeness that Avatar has. It's I don't want to call it half-baked, but they didn't quite bake it all the way through.
It's like 3/4 of the way baked.
Well, some people prefer raw cookie dough over a nice finished, perfectly looking cookie.
Raising my hand right now.
But I am going to give it to Avatar. My 50th hard ticket goes to Avatar because I enjoyed it on the rewatch more than I expected to.
Are you a James Cameron fan, would you say?
Well, how many times are we going to say on this podcast that I have not watched Titanic?
I just wanted to bring it up again.
Honestly, man, I mean, I like Cameron. I can't deny what he's done for film. I prefer Alien over Aliens. Although I did just watch the first 2 Terminators last year for the first time, and I really enjoyed both of them.
Oh, yeah.
I think Cameron has a style. I think it's so funny to be in the middle of Spielberg summer and say, if there's one person that really does define American cinema, it's probably actually James Cameron.
Really?
The business of film, the bigger. I mean, like, there's a lot of people who are chasing that emotional appeal that Spielberg captures so well. But who are the executive? What are the executives chasing? You know, they're chasing the money that Cameron has raked in at the box office. And he's done that by exploring some groundbreaking technologies, but the stories themselves, he's had some good ones.
Okay.
Has he had some great ones? Avatar isn't a great story.
No.
I don't think either of these movies are great, but I enjoyed them both.
Well, I think that's fair. Yeah. I mean, Cameron he's on the Mount Rushmore, I think, of like modern American filmmaking. It's him, it's Spielberg, it's Lucas, and it's Scorsese, probably. That's probably on the Mount Rushmore of great American filmmakers of the latter half of the 20th century into the 21st. And Steven Lisberger is like the janitor downstairs sweeping everything up. He's actually a genius, like Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, but he is the janitor. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I knew as soon as you said, I respect it. Tron.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that just such a tell?
The backhanded compliment toward Tron.
Hey, I probably do respect Tron more than Avatar. And,
that's fair.
It could go either way in a given day. I can watch Tron again. I was pretty tired when I watched it.
Yeah.
Viewing experience has to go into it. And I never really factor our hard ticket hypothetical into it. But if we're at a movie theater and then we can only watch one, it'd be cool to see it in a theater again, too.
It would be. Like I said, the ideal way to watch Avatar is in an IMAX 3D theater. I rewatched it like 2 days ago in my home. My home theater. It went down a little bit in my head.
Yeah.
But I also was trying to keep in mind, okay, this is not the ideal way to watch it. Is that a point against the film? I don't think so, in my opinion. Because I think most films they really benefit from a theater experience. Most films.
Yeah.
So it didn't really, not trying to hold that against the film and my ultimate decision here. But I am going to give it to Tron.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. It became clear to me pretty soon into Tron. I was like, okay, this is great. Not only is Tron like literally half the film Avatar is in terms of runtime, but it manages to do more with less in interesting ways that make me think, ways that make me feel, ways that I think have propagated a more interesting trilogy of films than has Avatar.
Definitely a more unconventional trilogy.
And like you were saying, less consistent.
Yes.
And that will bother some people.
Which is interesting because you put them all sort of the same level.
Yeah. I think quality-wise, the Tron films are about the same. I kind of think the same of the Avatar films. I think they're all about as good as each other. Although I think the latest Avatar was basically the second one just done all over again. Did have Una Chaplin in it, though. Bow Chicka Wow Wow for the last time of this 50th.
That's your trilogy of Bow Chicka Wow Wows there.
Yeah, it goes to Tron. I think I've explained myself well enough in this. I think it ultimately just comes down to a preference of style, preference of where is the technology / biology coming from?
Yeah.
And who is it leading this revolution? I like Jeff Bridges more. I like Tron more.
Yeah.
You like Jake Sully more.
I didn't say it. I literally said Jeff Bridges is the standout performer.
You think Jake Sully's more interesting than Jeff Bridges? And Jeff, that's just your opinion, and I respect that.
I'm supposed to be white bread, Forget the white guy.
I am white bread. That's why I relate to Jake Sully so much, because I'm white bread.
Yeah.
But no, I think this was a worthy matchup. I think it was a close matchup.
I do think it was close, yeah. And all like so much of me wants to be the guy who's like, Tron's rougher around the edges, it's a little jankier, and that's why I'm choosing it. But no, on a gut level, I just felt more compelled.
You got to go with your gut. Because I feel the same way. Because I also, there's a part of me that does like the kind of maverick, the devil may care attitude of me choosing Tron over you, the square choosing Avatar. But I at the end of the day, I was like, I recognize that this, like you said, there's less movie here than I thought. But there's so much movie in Avatar. It's all
It's
movie.
too much.
It's a little too much for me. I was flagging definitely during especially the latter half of the film. Got on my phone, scrolled a little bit, ordered DoorDash. You know, I didn't actually do that. But imagine if I had.
I would say these movies I get kind of lost in the spectacle movies in not necessarily the best way sometimes. Sometimes I legitimately get lost. Like my eyes go in different directions.
Oh yeah, to that point, there was like a part of Tron I was watching last night, and my TV, my Wi-Fi couldn't even handle it, and it started buffering. Like I got the little spinning, thing. And I was like, is this part of the
right?
Film? I was like a little confused.
Tron really breaks down like the facade of am I watching a movie or not?
I thought it was the film buffering. I was so confused. It's a lot, and it's also not a lot at the same time, which is what's so interesting about it.
I'll say the same. Yeah, it was a great 50th Tristan, our 50th hard ticket matchup. Look at us, we did it.
15 more and our matchups can retire.
That's going to do it for us on this episode of Hard Ticket. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Jared Tadlock, for designing our brand elements, keeping our podcast looking fresh. Thank you, Aaron Griffin, for mixing and mastering our theme song sung by yours truly in a truly awful falsetto. Thank you, Dalton Carney, for mixing and mastering our ancillary music that we use for bumpers. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and Blue Sky at Hard Ticket Pod, all lowercase, all one word. You can follow me on Letterboxd at Jeff Blogus, all lowercase, all one word. Tristan.
Yeah, follow me on Letterboxd, Tristan Moore. You can follow me on Instagram at Tristan__less. And the email is hardticketpodcast@gmail.com. What are some other big matchups that we're missing? What should we do for our 100th matchup? It's coming up here, folks.
We have an idea, I think.
We do?
I'll share with you my idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, very exciting. But share with us your ideas, because it might be better than Jeff's idea.
It's not, but you can try, folks. As always, thank you guys for listening. Next week, we have another episode of The Blind Spots coming at you. Spielberg summer continues with Catch Me If You Can, a movie I had not seen before recording that one. Tristan will be absent, but our good friend Josh Brown will be back to chastise me about the movies I have not seen. Yes, Titanic does come up again. Thank you, James Cameron.
I'm absent from the episode, but you guys name drop me a lot. You guys can't stop talking about me.
You guys did the same with me in your Signs episodes.
Well, it's not like a competition. I'm just saying.
I'm going to count how many times I was referred to in yours versus you and mine.
You name dropped me like 3 or 4 times. Spoilers for next week's episode.
But that's going to do it for us. Thank you, guys. And we will see you at the movies next week.
I see you, Jeffrey Bacchus.
I see you at the movies next week.
It's a hard ticket at the movies. Which one will you watch? Let's decide. It's a hard